BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Nice and early, 26 minutes past 7 in the morning, GMT, and we've seen a little bit of green. It's a new month, so this is the 1st of July, 2024. And we finally made our way to the weekly close, and it was I tell you what it reminded me of, the England game last night. That's what it was like. It was exactly like watching England play. So we spent the whole week saying, "Oh, we can't handle this price. We're gonna close down here. You're out of the Euros." And then last night, just literally hours before the close, it brought itself back above this 21 exponential moving average on the weekly, which is a good look. It's not out of the woods yet, but it's a good look. So this is now looking like a hammer, and that candle formation is usually quite bullish. It would have been better if it closed green, but this is good a place as any, and we're above that 21 exponential. So again, we're going to find the rest of the week trying to battle with this area once again, this 61,700, or just a little bit less really, and we're going to hopefully close the week above there once again this week. Even better, we should hopefully close the week above the Bollinger Band Center itself, the 20 moving average, which is sitting up here at 65,400. But until we see that, then we're likely to get rejected from it. We're also likely to get rejected from where we are right now on the daily. So guess what this is? Yeah, that's right. It's a 21 exponential moving average, but on the daily time frame. So the weekly closed above, the daily so far rejected. This is simple Bollinger Band strategy, and I know that the 21 exponential is not part of the Bollinger Band, but for a volatile asset of any form, of any description, exponential moving averages for me serve just as much use as simple moving averages, which is why I have the 20, which is the Bollinger Band Center, and the 21, which is not. But they both serve the same purpose in the form of something like Bitcoin or altcoins or anything like that. And so, yeah, Bollinger Band strategy would suggest that if you're below these areas, you're more likely to stay below it. And if you move up into it, you're more likely to get rejected by it, to the tune of 65%. Same thing would apply to being above it, which is why we were so pleased to see us close above it again, this morning. So, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, really, at the moment. I'd love to see this continue. I do have a long, which I've posted on my Telegram, which if you want to join, there's links in the description below for that, for the Patreon, for the Telegram, for the Discord. I try to be present where I can, if there's something to be present about. Other than that, though, let's have a look at our next best friend, Ethereum, because I have a theory about altcoins having a bit of a rally, at least, anyway. So this is Ethereum on the daily, which, hang on a minute, is slightly better than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as we can see on the daily here, getting rejected on a 21 exponential moving average. Ethereum, potentially, looking like it wants to break and close above it. Now, last night we closed below it. Today, we're toying with the idea of getting above it. So the last time, this is the consolidation here from this big move up. We haven't even touched it since we started breaking down from it. So this is getting close to what I would class as a change of behavior here. And I've been saying it now for what feels like about 3 weeks. Ethereum's chart is better than Bitcoin's chart. And so if Ethereum does decide it wants to keep creeping up like it is doing at the moment, it can actually move. And with that, it can move the rest of the market, because the total 2 is more or less driven by Ethereum. Excuse me. And Ethereum's chart is better than Bitcoin's. It's not amazing, but it's definitely better when it comes to breaking out. Look, the same thing applies here. We closed yesterday above the 21. We are obviously above the 21 at the moment. This is the weekly. Move ourselves to the daily, getting rejected on the 21, so similar to that of Bitcoin, but we did hit this 200 exponential and simple moving average, which is all part and parcel of a golden cross retest. So again, we've got mixed signals, mixed setups across the board for all kinds of reasons. But if you put all of this TA, all these charts, whether it's the total 2, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, and all this stuff, you put it into one giant cauldron, stir it up a little bit, and work out, what looks like the most likely outcome. The most likely outcome in this week, I would say. And again, it can all fall if Bitcoin decides it wants to get heavily rejected. But the most likely outcome, surprisingly, is an alt rally in the form of a maybe a 10 to as much as a 50% move on some of these altcoins, moving across the board, and only just to get rejected in the form of a death cross retest for most altcoins. Not all, because again, pinpointing that not all altcoins are created equal, and recognizing that Ethereum itself has already just performed the first death cross retest on the 4-hourly after the death cross, so that has now completed. This is something I've been talking about on the Patreon for the last couple of weeks, I think, or at least the last couple of streams. Our expectations, or my expectations of altcoins, is basically what Ethereum's already done. Sort of moved from a low into its 200 exponential, which is only a 7% move, really, 8% move for something like Ethereum. For something like VeChain, which is again something I've just got up on here anyway, from the wick to the 200 exponential is a 22% move, and the one coin that I've got, the one futures position that I've got on myself is ICP, because it measured out to be the largest of them all if it were to have done it, and it still could. The death cross retest on the 4-hourly for ICP is 27%, and again that is just up to the 4-hourly. Now look, none of this has to happen. But I was willing to, and I still am willing to bet that it will happen. Look, the only thing that's going to cause it to collapse would be a sharp rejection on here. And even though this is where we're likely to see a rejection, it doesn't have to be sharp. We can take it down to a 4-hourly and say, well, if we've started to move up, and Bitcoin perhaps maybe moves up to 65,000 or just lower than that, and then gets rejected, the likelihood of it being supported on this 20 moving average, which is in this current direction. So we're looking for something perhaps maybe like this. Back down to create a higher low on the 4-hourly, and it's at this point do we decide, does this rally for altcoins have legs? And if it does have legs, we're looking for continuation up to these areas up here. And again, ICP from its current price action, 16% currently. So it's not like guaranteed, but based on the golden cross retest for the total 2, and based on the strength of Ethereum compared to that of Bitcoin, which is slightly better, and also thinking about the Bitcoin dominance chart, which again is a bit of a messy old thing here, and we're looking at this here on the daily. So we'll start on the daily. We could see a pullback into just below 54% dominance. That's fine. And again, a bounce from there would be expected. We could see a bounce already taking place already on the 21 exponential, which again, we've already started to see that. But if we do lose this area, it would still be a bullish chart, and we'd be moving into a golden cross retest, which is about 5%, over a 5% move back down on the dominance chart, which would be an altcoin rally. Some might call it a season. I don't think we could call it a season, but it would be good enough to make some nice gains. And I think if it's going to happen, it would happen this week. It should already be happening by now. We are in the green already. We've had a relatively decent close, last week. So now a fresh week, fresh month, closed above a 21 exponential. It's all quite good. We just want to see how the rest of the day and the next couple of days develop in price action, because if the 4-hourlies do hold for Bitcoin and we continue with this kind of shape, then yeah, that's a decent enough structure to expect altcoins to continue to fulfill their death cross retests, which is what they are. This is a bearish chart with a bearish formation, which is a bearish retest. So you move up. It might sound good because, if you bought like me or long just below $8 for ICP, for instance, you make some good gains, but this is a major area to get rejected from. And if we continue from there, then you actually measure it up to the daily death cross, which is a lot bigger. It's a 34% move from where we are currently right now. So potential alt rallies, just as I've been saying for the last week at least, for the last 7 days or so, potential alt rallies this week. Continuation, complete, like parabolic alt season, I'm not saying that. The reality is that this is a bearish chart, just like most altcoins are bearish charts. you get things called dead cat bounces or death cross retest, which is all part of the structure of the chart. And the structure of the chart suggests that if we're going to bounce, the top bounces would move all the way into the dailies. And so for something like ICP, which measures up the largest of the bounces of the coins that I'm I suppose trading or interested in, then yeah, you can make some decent money. But you must make sure that if you do come up to this area, you think about taking profit, because if you don't, and again, you don't have to, but if you don't recognize what you're doing, you're basically charging into a brick wall here. And of course, brick walls can break depending on how fast you hit them. But it is a brick wall. Spot positions down here, completely appropriate. That's why we've been dollar cost averaging. But for any kind of other type of trade, whether it's a spot trade or a futures trade, yeah, profit taking is essential, and that would be the top target up to there. That's pretty much all there is to say about it. Ethereum, like I say, Ethereum's chart is different. Ethereum's got a better chart than most. The death cross doesn't exist on the daily here. It's actually primed to potentially break out and move back up to the previous local high, 4,000, like I was saying about 2-3 weeks ago. If we get this breakout from here, then it wouldn't take much for Ethereum to do that, which again adds more weight to the total 2 chart, which again is actually not too bad. It is similar to Bitcoin on its weekly, actually very optimistic on its daily. So look, this could shape up to be a pretty decent week, but again, it's only early on a Monday morning. This is literally just the first few 4-hourly closures of the entire week. There's so much that could happen, but so far looks relatively good, despite Bitcoin already approached its moving average, that 21 on the daily. Most likely get a rejection from there, and it's if it can hold a higher low structure at this point, that's where we want to really start to get interested in. If it holds a higher low structure on the 4-hourly, we should be in for a pretty good week across the board anyway. But eyes on Ethereum, eyes on Bitcoin, optimistic across the board for altcoins, but don't, like I said yesterday, and probably for the most part of last week, don't change the goalpost just because you're blinded by double-digit green, pumps. That's not Millionaire Starter Kit. This is not alt season. This is alt rally, dead cat bounce, death crop retest. So this is a bearish formation. So remember that when you're rewarded with loads of profit. Profit can get wiped out pretty easily because the downtrend is still the main characteristic of most of these charts. Right, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, like the video if you found value in it. Join the Telegram and the Patreon if you want more. Otherwise, take it easy.